You can't just make somebody leave because they don't understand how your cult works and they want to know.
We have a dog emergency on our hands, viewers. This dog was just running off leash down that street and down this street, finally onto the sidewalk and down here. The dog minder has finally caught up with her dog, and we're happy to see a nice happy ending to this.
I guess he didn't want to go.
Like the smaller the dog is, the more.
Maybe he's scared of other dogs, and that's why he didn't want to go.
Oh, God.
I found you so cute. Oh my God.
Don't tell my sister, guys. Yeah. I'm watching my sister went away for the weekend. Oh, you don't want me? Okay.
So we had the good fortune this afternoon, viewers, to chronicle the behavior of a rather enthusiastic canine. You really do never know what you're going to get when you tune into early 21st century cult members of the Pacific Northwest. Yes. What species of organism will you be able to view for your viewing pleasure? This cult member is just finishing up her meeting. She is no doubt on her way to try to save as many people as possible before her God Jehovah has to decide that the clock is run out. On our last episode of early 21st century cult members of the Pacific Northwest, you'll recall that there was an individual in a wheelchair, and I really do wish the battery hadn't run out, because that was quite an eventful 15 or 20 minutes that unfolded on our Friday edition. That man in the wheelchair kept grabbing the sign, throwing it on the ground and rolling over it. I kept picking it up and holding it once more until finally he grabbed it and crumpled it up. He grabbed it and he crumpled it up all in front of the cult members, and actually to the cult members' delight. The tall cult member in the pink was especially Cheshire grinny regarding the fact that my sign had been crumpled up. I'm sorry I didn't capture him on tape, but I then took that sign, uncrumpled it best I could, and stood there with it once more. And that was when the cult member who was playing hide and seek screamed, "Stuart, leave us alone." It was at that point in my protesting on Friday afternoon that the cult member screamed, "Stuart, leave us alone," and rolled across the street to the other side of Robson Square, hoping to incite me to follow them so that then they could then call the police to cry invasion of personal space, to cry harassment. The reason we're standing here at the moment now, viewers, is because this is the English Bay congregation. This is the congregation where Brian Alston serves as the CBOE, not the COBE, but as the CBOE. I'm able to make that distinction now because I have gotten my hands on the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. I'm able to now make that correction because I have gotten my hands on the Circuit Overseer Guidelines along with the 2017 Convention Guidelines, and I invite you to do the same. So I am looking forward to reading to you in front of these cult members from those PDFs, particularly the Circuit Overseer Guidelines, the 130-page package of Circuit Overseer Guidelines. What a treat it would be to actually catch a Circuit Overseer manning a cart and start reading to him and his fellow cult members right from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines.
Like, she's still there.
Wow.
She cooks the next week. But okay.
What an episode that would be. A Circuit Overseer and a newly qualified publisher of the good news, recently qualified to stand next to the cart, the two of them at the cart, and I begin reading to you from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. Wow. What an episode that will be. But for today's episode, we really are just standing outside the Kingdom Hall. You can see in the reflection there that I'm not holding a sign, I'm not holding magazines, I'm not in the Jehovah suit. I am just standing here on street property talking to my YouTube viewers who really do keep me quite excited about what I'm doing. I hope I'm keeping them excited about what they're doing, because it is quite exciting, at least from this vantage point, it is quite exciting to anticipate the demolishing of this Kingdom Hall. I am eagerly anticipating the day where I will be standing right here, and if not right here, then across the street. Really, it doesn't matter if I'm standing here or across the street, but I am looking forward to standing in plain view of this Kingdom Hall while it is demolished. While the Masonic architecture is reduced to firewood. While the carpet is ripped up, while the chairs are probably sold, while the lights are smashed, while the wallpaper is peeled and scraped, while these handrails are ripped out of the ground, while these stairs disappear, and while that jw.org sign is gone. So really, I am just taking the time to use this particular episode, viewers, to indulge in the anticipation of viewing this Kingdom Hall reduced to rubble. I do not expect that any cult member will be coming out of these doors, but perhaps they will. Perhaps they will. So we will wait for that. The brother is still doing the Watchtower study up there. I do believe that is Dennis Weaver. Dennis Weaver, if you'll recall, was the brother who was standing right there in one episode telling me that he and his wife left the truth, did their thing, and then came back. And how proud he was of himself in that episode of the fact that he came back to Jehovah. And he has come back to Jehovah indeed today, and that it appears as though he is the one conducting the Watchtower study up there. You will also recall from another episode where Dennis Weaver said, "Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me." Well, I look forward to not talking to the cult member today, but I don't really think I have to worry about not talking to the cult member with him standing nearby, because he probably won't come out those doors. In fact, we will see who will come out of those doors to ignore the apostate, to ignore the apostate, to quickly ignore the apostate, to really, really quickly ignore the apostate. Yes, viewers, I am an apostate. I am no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and deciding to no longer be one of Jehovah's Witnesses has been the greatest decision I have made in my life. How you doing, sir? That passerby agrees. I wonder if that passerby would agree if I were to explain to him that I used to belong to this cult, I no longer belong to this cult, and I am anticipating this cult's downfall, if I would get the same smile of approval that he just gave me now. See, that is the difference, viewers, between the human being and the cult member. The human being is prepared to repeat himself and go over the facts so that he can confirm what is true. The cult member will go over the facts while in among their fellow cult members and decide that no, the truth has been established. The truth has been firmly established inside this echo chamber, viewers. These cult members are firmly establishing the truth right now. They are being read to. They are then being asked questions based on what they've just been read, and then they are regurgitating from those paragraphs, and in the process, honestly believing that they are firmly establishing truth. And it really does feel good, viewers. I know you know how good it felt to believe that by regurgitating Watchtower material, you were firmly establishing truth in the process. Really, you couldn't pick a more satisfying expression. And of course, you wouldn't say regurgitating Watchtower propaganda, regurgitating the brainwashing from the governing body, regurgitating false prophecies. No, you put it as though you were firmly establishing truth. You were having a share in firmly establishing truth, and yes, 3 elders. I'm sorry you can't see, viewers, but believe me when I tell you that 3 viewers have entered the vestibule and are now standing in front of those doors. I did arrive just in time today to view the tail end of the Watchtower study, the concluding song and the concluding prayer, to give these cult members plenty of time to realize that I'm standing out here, and yes, indeed, to once again engage in their cult behavior and stand 3 of them in the vestibule between the main doors and the exit doors. I wonder if they are going to be asking their fellow cult members to kindly leave through the back. I wonder if they're going to be asking their fellow cult members to kindly leave through the back. Satan is standing out front. Brothers, sisters, if you wouldn't mind exiting through the back doors, Jehovah has revealed that part of his eternal purpose is that you go out of the back doors today. We are living in critical times, hard to deal with. Satan is ramping up his attacks. So, in an effort to thwart those attacks, kindly leave through the back doors today. We will observe these cult members do one or the other. I wonder if these cult members actually think that I'm going to walk up those stairs and try to gain access to this echo chamber. I wonder if these cult members actually think I'm dumb enough to walk up those stairs, try to enter that Kingdom Hall, and yes, definitely deal with the police today. I wonder if they think I'm dumb enough. I wonder if they're hoping that I'd be dumb enough, or if they're beginning to realize that there are ways to expose them without getting yourself into trouble with the police, which I'm figuring out how to do, and I'm sure there are others out there who are figuring out how to do even more effectively, and I do look forward to those videos. I do look forward to those videos where former cult members engage cult members in a way that exposes them, where the cult members cannot run to the police, but where they can run away. Will the cult member run to the police, or will the cult member run away? To run away or to run to the police? That is the question. What is going to be the identifying mark of Jehovah's people in the months and years to come? They're running from apostates, or they're running to the police when confronted by apostates? Your guess is as good as mine, viewers, but for the moment, we will observe whether or not the cult members will be exiting out of the front door after their regurgitation session this Sunday afternoon. And we will also observe whether or not Brian Alston, if Brian Alston has managed to grow a pair of testicles since we last saw him, and he's prepared to come out and say, Stuart, listen, I'm sorry I grabbed you. Now, will you stop behaving so childishly? or something to that effect. Something to that effect, because I have seen Brian Alston here. He is, as I mentioned, the coordinator of the body of elders, the CBOE, viewers, not the COBE. And if you doubt me, I invite you to go to the leaked Circuit Overseer guidelines to see right from the horse's mouth that you don't call him the COBE, you call him the CBOE, the CBOE. So there are, I think, a total of 4 or 5 cult members, appointed men, standing in the vestibule now. The meeting has definitely ended. I wonder if it's not so much about asking them to go through the back as it is about blocking, as it is about shielding the fellow cult members from just being able to even see me standing here. Yeah. See, viewers? 1, 2, 3, 4 cult members. Can you guys see that? 1, 2, 3, 4 cult members. 2 per door, blocking off the door, so their fellow impressionable, vulnerable, weak sheep do not even see the apostate standing here. Because to see the apostate standing outside of the Kingdom Hall would be to give Satan an inroad, wouldn't it? See? They are preventing the sheep from having to be confronted with an inroad that Satan has made today. You heard those cult members on a couple of occasions refer to me as Satan, or at least the one cult member that one time. Forgive me, viewers, on the one occasion. After she grabbed this away from me, and then after I recounted to her fellow cult members what she just did, and she called that a lie, she then called me Satan, or a representative of Satan. Her exact words were, "Satan is among us." These cult members are no doubt enjoying the idea that Satan himself is standing right outside of their echo chamber today. The flurry of activity, the variation in procedure at the end of the meeting is letting them know that, wow, Satan is with them. Satan is with these cult members, viewers, and they are taking precautions. The precautions they are taking is to install 4 appointed cult members to just shield the door. Amazing. So I really don't know what else I can promise to present you with this episode, viewers. Really, this is about it. This is about it for today, I think. I think that, let's review now. Did you notice how the cult members all swarmed into the vestibule? And did you notice how the 4 cult members got in front of the door so that the fellow cult members couldn't even see me? Yes, sister. Yeah, I did notice that. And I think the reason that the cult members have done that is because, well, really, they're not really interested in hearing anyone else's view about Watchtower other than that of their fellow cult members. Very good, sister. Very good, sister. Anybody else? Anybody else? Did you notice the sister mention, anyway, hi. Yes, they're taking the picture. Hello. The cult member is taking my picture. I wonder what story the cult member is going to tell. I wonder what story the cult member is going to tell. He's now taking my picture again. And another cult member is taking my picture. 2 of them are taking my picture now. Wow. I wonder if these cult members would have the courage to come out and ask me if I care at all that they are filming me. I wonder if they actually think that I care that they're filming me. These cult members really do not appreciate that we are all filmed pretty much everywhere we go. Have been for, I don't know, at least about 15 years since 9/11. Some countries are more surveilled than others, but the irony of those cult members, the two of them now, just filming now, is that there's a camera right there above them. I think you've been able to see it from other episodes, that there is a surveillance camera right above them already filming me. See? And no doubt those cult members know that I'm already being filmed, but it's the spectacle, it's the indulgence, it's the act of taking out their phone to film me personally that makes them personally feel as though they are maybe a little victorious in their theocratic warfare today. See? So while these cult members are defining filming me, while I'm already being filmed as engaging in theocratic warfare, I think you and I both know that it's just plain cult behavior. Yep. See, it does look like I am talking to myself. I look like I'm talking to myself, don't I? Do I look like I'm talking to myself? Okay. So, to the average passerby, it does look like I'm talking to myself. But really, all I'm doing is trying to employ more intelligent tactics in my being able to expose and continue to expose the species of our series. Not expose, I guess chronicle. Call it what you want. I think the exposing part has already been done. I think the exposing part has already been done. See, so this guy thinks I'm talking to myself. Yeah, this guy thinks I'm talking to myself. He should get his own YouTube channel. He should get his own YouTube channel, decide that there's something he believes in and stand for it. And, well, who knows? Anyway, what was I saying? That I think the exposing has already been done. I think Watchtower's own history is exposing Watchtower for a pack of manipulators, a pack of liars, a pack of pedophile-protecting, pedophile-enabling, quote-unquote God-fearing cult members. I don't really think they need anyone to... It's kind of like when you've pushed a boulder over a hill. It's tough getting it up, but once you let go, it really has a life of its own, tumbling to the bottom. And I think it's safe to say that we are watching Watchtower pretty much enter into that phase of its existence, the tumbling down the hill phase of its existence. And if you don't believe it, well, I think you can just see for yourself in many, many videos that are being uploaded right now to YouTube regarding the behavior of people who are still loyal to Watchtower. The videos of people who are still loyal to Watchtower in this day and age. Wow. What a dilemma they are facing. What a dilemma Watchtower loyalists are facing in 2018. This is the kind of childish behavior they resort to. Their stress, their anxiety is reducing them to behave this childishly. Again, viewers, you will permit me to remind you that I have never disrupted a meeting of Jehovah's Witnesses in my life. I do believe these cult members know that. Once the meeting chairman takes the microphone and announces that the meeting is about to start, please stand and sing if you are able. Between that opening song and the concluding song, I sit quietly in my seat. Or I try to sit quietly in my seat. One of the occasions where I tried to do that here, a police officer pulled me out of the meeting. See? So I say that if anybody disrupted that meeting, it was the cult members themselves by calling the police when I wasn't even disrupting the meeting. But as you know, all cult members care about is the appearance of things. See, the appearance of that police officer pushing me out of the Kingdom Hall in the middle of the meeting, the appearance of that police officer pushing me out of the meeting in the middle of the meeting is good enough for the cult member. See? The image of the police officer pushing me and dragging me out of the meeting where they have no idea what was said after, is just good enough for the cult members, just like the snapshot that they've taken is going to be good enough for them too. Just like the snapshot that they've taken is going to be good enough for them as well. Yeah. Again, what do you tell someone? What do you tell someone about a picture that you've taken of another person where you know they were talking, but you don't know what they were saying? What kind of meaningful communication can you really have about that picture? Oh, yes. No, cult members are not interested in meaningful communication. Cult members are not interested in meaningful communication, viewers. What are they interested in? I don't know. What, if not meaningful communication, are cult members interested in? Yeah. See, if I were to try to engage one of these people in conversation, the camera would pick that up. Then the cult members would be able to tell the police that he was causing a disturbance by talking to people walking past. See? These cult members used to stand right there, and they used to try to engage people in conversation, but they stopped doing that. They just stand there like statues, or they sit right there, or they sit inside, and if somebody wants to stop to take the literature and they linger for long enough, then maybe they will get up to come out to talk to the prospective sheep. But typically the cult members will just stand right there, because to draw people walking by into conversation can be considered a disturbing of the peace. So I'm not going to do that. People have been walking by for about 10-15 minutes at this point, and I have not really tried to talk to any of them, except one to ask them a simple question, because to engage people walking by in conversation could be interpreted as a disturbing of the peace. And in the Pacific Northwest, where political correctness rules the day, a disturbing of the peace is good enough for someone to phone the police on you. So I'm not going to disturb the peace. I'm going to stand in a public place discussing these cult members and discussing their behavior. I wish you could see it. Can you guys see it? I wonder if you guys can see these cult members still standing at the doors. I wonder if you guys can see these cult members still standing at the doors. Yeah, see? I can eliminate the reflection if I change the angle. Go ahead. Can you guys tell? I assure you, there are four cult members. They are clustered together in front of those doors, keeping the sheep safe, shepherding the flock. Oh, hey, side point, viewers. So I was going through the Circuit Overseer guidelines, and sure enough, in the Circuit Overseer guidelines, the Shepherd the Flock of God manual is not called the Shepherd the Flock of God manual in the Circuit Overseer guidelines. It's referred to as the shepherding textbook. For those of you that have not yet seen that, I invite you to go to Faye Dare's Reddit account and read the Circuit Overseer guidelines, where you will see that the Shepherd the Flock of God manual is referred to as the shepherding textbook. So among the appointed men in the cult, they will refer to the Shepherd the Flock of God manual as the shepherding textbook. So when Hagen told me, we don't even call it that anymore, when he said, we don't even call that anymore, dismissing everything I was saying about it, he was technically able to say that because as an appointed cult member, he refers to it as the shepherding textbook. See? And that is typical cult behavior. See? When you get one minutia wrong when talking about their cult material, they then feel they get to dismiss everything you're saying. See? So by calling it the Shepherd the Flock of God manual, when he refers to it as the shepherding textbook, notice how he had no interest. Notice how he had no interest in talking to me, and how he was trying to dismiss everything I was saying. That is another good example of why this channel exists, viewers. To chronicle the behavior of you-know-who. Shepherding textbook, viewers. I think I'm going to call this episode that. Shepherdin textbook. Yeah, that's it. That is going to be the name of this episode. Shepherdin textbook. These poor cult members are still clustered together in there. No doubt they're beginning to smell. No doubt they're beginning to sweat. No doubt they're beginning to wonder how much longer I'm going to stay here because of how ridiculous I'm making them look in there. But that is really just what they've asked for, isn't it, viewers? As cult members, as cult leaders, they have been begging for this level of scrutiny, this level of examination, well, really for about 140 years, and now they're getting it, aren't they? This is what you want, this is what you get, and now you notice really their inability to handle it. Or would you say that this is successfully handling the attention? Would you say that the behavior of these cult members in recent months is evidence of their successfully handling the scrutiny that they've been begging for? Really, that is that's really not for me to say. Of course, I would say no, it isn't. No, it isn't really evidence of their successfully handling the scrutiny that they've been begging for. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. I would say that it is indicative of their inability to handle the scrutiny that they've been begging for. But I am prepared to be wrong. Tomorrow is another day. Perhaps there is something I just don't understand. Perhaps there is something that we just don't understand, viewers. And these men are indeed giving evidence of true and approved worship by huddling together in front of that door to screen it off so that the sheep under their care don't even know that I'm out here. But the irony is that by doing that, they have done more than I ever could today. Really, by the four of them assembling and clustering in front of those doors like that, asking everybody to leave through the back, they have done more than I could have really in 10 episodes, viewers, of communicating what I'm trying to communicate to these cult members. See, these cult members, these appointed cult members, have done my job for me today. And actually, they're continuing to do my job for me today by starting to scatter and wonder if I'm going to stay here much longer. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in there at the moment, viewers. Wow. Oh, to be a fly on the wall inside of this echo chamber right now. Oh, my goodness. Dear Jesus, let me be a fly on the wall in this kingdom hall right now. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Yep. Really, so this is a rather uneventful episode, viewers. I'm sorry that we have not gotten footage of the cult member unobstructed. But I promise to deliver that footage at some point this week where you and I will enjoy considering the Circuit Overseer Guidelines and the 2017 Convention Guidelines, which you're welcome to go look up for yourself right now at Faye Dares, FAYDEHR's Reddit account. And a thank you to JW Suicides for featuring her in one of her review videos. I don't think I would have ever heard of her, at least not for a while, if it hadn't been for JW Suicides. So thank you once again, sister, for sharing that YouTube user, that Reddit account holder, and the wonderful, wonderful treats that she is sharing with the XJW community, particularly the Circuit Overseer Guidelines and the 2017 Convention Guidelines, which I really look forward to reading to you in front of the cult members at some point this week, probably tomorrow. I just have to print them off. I may have to print off another copy of my sign as well. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. And oh, what a treat that will be. What a treat that will be. So while I didn't film any of the cult members yesterday, viewers, I was walking around sort of taking literature and stopping to talk to the cult members briefly, stand in front of them, and it was funny. Oh, and I bumped into Ron Peebles. Ron Peebles was sitting outside of London Drugs on Granville holding out magazines, and I walked up to him. I didn't say a word. I just I walked up to him. He was sitting right there. I walked up to him. He was holding the magazines. I walked up to him, and he gave me the magazines. He gave me the magazines. And then you'll remember from a previous episode, the cult member who was sitting right here, who was putting his hand on his face, trying to shield his face momentarily. He was out in service, and he too was sitting in front of St. Paul's Hospital, holding the magazines in the same way. And I went up to him, and I put out my hand, and he refused to give me the magazines. So I'm a little confused. Are the magazines truly available to all members of the public, or just the ones that the individual cult member in the moment feels like handing out? I don't really know. There's a little girl at the door. She's wondering what I'm doing. I hope she has some critical thinking skills that haven't been pulverized out of her by fear of Jehovah, by fear of the elders, by disregard for anybody that doesn't worship her God exactly like her. Hopefully that young one will maintain a level of critical thinking, and when she's old enough, she will say sayonara. I do believe that in 10 years, it's going to be a lot easier for her to do that than it was for the last 140 years worth of cult members. I wonder if they were hoping that I would approach that little girl. I wonder if they were hoping that I would approach that little girl. I wonder if the cult members let that little girl come right to the door, hoping that I would then walk up those steps to say hi or peekaboo and interact with the child, so that then they could take that snapshot and tell whatever story they wanted regarding that snapshot. Officer, you see him here approaching one of our children. Our children! Yeah. Nothing moves a cult member to childish defense mechanisms faster than when they're able to involve an endangered child. But as you know, viewers, the reason we are doing this work is because of our love of children. All children. It really is that simple. It really is that simple, viewers. Oh, yes, indeed. Take a free copy. Take a free copy of what? See, there's no literature out here at the moment. There's no card out here right now. But the sign is saying, take a free copy. Does that mean take the sign? Where can we find answers to life's big questions? The jw.org website can help you find the answers. Don't ask us. Go right to the website. Take a free copy. Okay. Take a free copy of what? I'm confused. Not one single cult member has exited through these front doors. They have all exited out the back. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait to chronicle the behavior of one of the cult members from this congregation while they are giving a defense of the good news later this week. This is what it feels like, viewers, to win. I wish you could feel it the way I'm feeling it right now. Hopefully it's being conveyed to you through video format, but let me tell you, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are I believe the planets have aligned for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in 2018, viewers. Wow. Yep. For lack of a better expression, I believe the planets have aligned for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in 2018. I'm trying to think of something I can do to make this episode a little more interesting, viewers. I don't want to feel as though I'm cheating you. There's certainly there are more exciting things going on in Vancouver than some tall jerk talking to himself on the street corner. But I don't know. You guys want to go to, what do you guys want to do? Well, you did see that episode with the dog. I didn't film the dog running across the street. That would have been something. A little action shot, but I did try to capture the aftermath for you. Winter coming. Winter feels so far away today. It's so hot.
You've gotten used to it, so I'm waiting for it to come back.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. Winter in Vancouver isn't as bad as other Canadian cities. Wow. Amazing. Wow. Really, viewers, if one of you is willing to come to Vancouver and infiltrate one of these congregations to be inside while I'm standing outside, I'll take you to lunch. I'll take you to a really nice lunch. Okay? If one of you is willing to come to Vancouver to try to get into one of these meetings while I'm standing here and they pull this kind of behavior, and so you can tell me and the viewers what was being said and what they were doing, I'll take you to lunch. I'll take you to lunch, and if you can capture it, if you can video it and get some good recordings of whatever's being said or what's going on in the inside, if you can do that, well then I'll take you for lunch at the Hotel Vancouver. So lunch on me at the Hotel Vancouver for anybody who's willing to come to Vancouver to try to get into a meeting to record what happens among the cult members while I am standing here. And then we can join forces and put up an episode that I think would be quite fascinating. Lunch on me, viewers. Yep. Lunch on me at the Hotel Vancouver. That will be money well spent. That will be money well spent. Yeah. You know what? Drinks too. Drinks too. Yes. Alcoholic beverages included. Fine. Lunch, alcoholic beverages, within reason, for the first YouTube viewer who can come to Vancouver and assist me by infiltrating a meeting, being inside this echo chamber when I'm standing outside and they screen off the doors so that what is going on inside, what is being said inside, so that what is going on inside and what is being said inside can be captured and shared with interested persons. I think XJWs are redefining the expression interested persons, aren't we? I think XJWs would consider W5, A&E, Hollywood, Emma Thompson, other filmmakers. I believe XJWs would now consider those people interested persons, wouldn't we? Yeah. Amazing. I do believe that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are taking the language away from these cult members and using it for our purposes. And really, I think there's only one purpose. And that is that the truth about the truth be known. Simple as that. And really, the average person wouldn't know what that means. What do you mean, the truth about the truth? Well, really, that's fine. We know what is meant by that title, The Truth About the Truth, and we are all doing what we can to contribute to that coming to pass. The truth about the truth being told. Amazing. I can't tell for sure, but this Kingdom Hall is almost empty. There is one more meeting today. This was the English Bay congregation. Brian Alston, who physically assaulted me, is the CBOE of this congregation. And actually, you know what, viewers? It has to be the English Bay congregation. Stipulation. For the lunch, for the drinks, It has to be the English Bay congregation. It has to be this congregation exactly. Oh, there go some cult members. I wonder if they're going to be going to engage in their preaching today. I wonder if they're regular pioneers and are needing to get their hours in because the circuit overseer is coming. Boy, could we tell them a thing or two about the circuit overseer now, couldn't we, viewers? With the 130 pages of guidelines that he has to read being leaked. Being leaked for you, being leaked for me, being leaked for that little girl that came to the door to read if she felt like it. Yeah. I think I'm able to discuss the Circuit Overseer guidelines, letters to the bodies of elders, convention guidelines, because my channel isn't monetized. See, I am not generating revenue. I am not using Jehovah's Witnesses or Watchtower propaganda as my mascot to generate revenue, so there is no copyright violation. And because there is no copyright violation, I can read pretty much anything I want in the interest of news gathering, in the interest of educating. Amazing. Amazing how once upon a time we thought we were engaging in the most important educational work in human history. When now we just want to educate people about the truth about Jehovah's Witnesses, and notice how it is 10 times more invigorating than it ever was for us to regurgitate Watchtower propaganda to people. At least 10 times more invigorating. I believe this echo chamber is just about empty. I believe my battery is going to be dying soon. So really, I just came out here today to observe the behavior of the cult members at meeting time, the response to my presence, and I wasn't disappointed. I don't think this was a disappointment, viewers. I believe that those 4 men who clustered together in front of that door accomplished more than I ever could have. Accomplished more than I ever could have by actually... I believe those 4 men accomplished more for us than I ever could have by actually gaining access to the meeting and sitting quietly through it. So the door is now closing. The door is now closing. They are now going to finish up until the next batch of Jehovah's Witnesses arrive for their Sunday worship. Once again, viewers, we are in the Robson Square. Robson Square is actually located between Howe Street, that's Howe Street, and Hornby Street. So between Howe and Hornby on Robson Street, you can expect to find any number of activities going on. We have somebody popping and locking over here. Very limber young gentleman, break dancing for us. There are some Tom Lee music store representatives over there. They appear to be having a liquidation event. Oh, we were talking about getting footage of the food. Let's see if we can find some footage of the food. Woo! What's the number one seller? Beef? Beef, yeah. That poor girl's not having the best time. People are filming the surroundings, and people are offering artwork to anybody interested in buying some artwork. I mentioned to you before, viewers, that used to be a Chapters. Behind that store is the residential complex. I think that apartment building is about 15 years old. That's an office tower.